Welcome to my first podcast. My podcast is called Vibes and Wisdom. I am Carla. I would share with you a little about myself. I see myself as a lifelong learner, someone that is passionate about learning, growing, evolving. And for those of you who know me very well, you will know anytime I hear something that is good and positive, I like to share it with my inner circles. So I decided I will take this podcast a little further, or I would take the opportunity actually to use the podcast as a space to share with a greater audience, not just my inner circles. I'll use this space to connect, to uplift, and to share all of the lifelong lessons that were poured to me over the period of time on this earth. So, for my podcast, you will see real moments, you will hear unfiltered conversations, you will get great vibes. So, if you are like me, where you want to grow and evolve, I would say that you are in the right podcast space. With that being said, I want to dive right into my first topic. And it's a statement that I heard in the past. And when I heard it the first time, I was like, what foolishness is this? This thing is so silly, all right? But then just recently, I heard it again. And then I saw it somewhere again. And then I decided this probably have some value or validity to it. Let me unravel the meaning of the statement. And the statement is, wherever you go, that's where you will be. I was like, duh. Wherever I go, that's where I will be. That's kind of obvious, right? So simple, but yet very profound. And this is the meaning that I put to it. Wherever you go, you carry with you your same old habits, your same attitude, your same mindset. So you may have a different job, you may change your zip code, you may have a new relationship, and all of these things might be different, but the only constant that is the same is you. So, the objective of this podcast is to help you become aware of how you show up when you arrive anywhere at the workplace, in a new relationship, wherever you may show up. All right. The objective is to help you understand how you are perceived by others when you show up, what could be the best version of yourself? What would that look like? And how can you show up differently? So let's start with how you show up. You know, there are some people when they show up, they add value. And there are some when they show up, they add noise. They just talk a lot. They're loud. In my country, we have a saying, empty vessels make the most noise. And these are the people, the spotlight of attention has to be on them all the time. So you find they talk about their accomplishments. They talk about what outfit they have on now, what outfit they had on then when they went to a party or a function. They talk about their children and how they excel. Only their children went to colleges. Only their children smart. Only their children appear a certain way. It's all about them. So the spotlight has to be on them. There are other people sometimes when they show up and they do what we call something called leveling. You know, like level playing field, leveling, where they put down others so that they could feel good about themselves. So they make all these funny jokes that they alone laughing about. Sorry, my phone. Right? So they make jokes on other people that they find funny, but it's really not funny. You're embarrassing the person. That's not nice. But They feel superior and the other person feel inferior. But my thing is, for those of us, if we ever experience people who like to level, you don't feel badly. They should feel badly about what they are doing to you and how they are making you feel. Now you have other people who show up where their presence has such a positive impact that they could shift the energy in the room. That once they show up, people receive them with love. The vibes are different. And when people receive you with love, how do you know? They come to you. They embrace you. They ask you about yourself. They smile. It's almost like your presence actually lit up the room. My friend shared with me one time, she said, Carla, there are two types of people. There are people when they enter a room, people look for them. They turn around and they look and they're glad when they see you enter that door. And there are some people when they enter the room, they have to look for people. And sometimes those people who enter and they have to look for people, people see them, and guess what? They start to duck because they don't want to deal with that person's energy and that person's presence. And that person may come and they may ask, anybody sitting here? Some say yes, some say no. Then everybody on the table starts saying, yes, somebody sitting here. Why? They don't want you to sit with them. That's just to tell you how repulsive your presence is. Now, I hope ain't nobody looking at this has a repulsive presence, but who knows, right? And again, the objective of this podcast is to help you appear with impact, purpose, and the right energy so that your presence could have a positive improvement in those around you. Now, the other thing is, how would you like to show up? What would be the best version of you? What would that look like? And to my surprise, I asked a few people, what would be the best version of you? What would that look like? And surprisingly, people didn't have an answer. I heard people say, I never thought about that. The best version of me? I don't know. Akala, I don't have time for all of that. That's extra. I was really, really surprised because, again, like me, I am always looking for ways to show up the best version of myself. So I'm always trying to get to that point of self actualization, which is the highest peak for the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for people who may be familiar with that. So when I heard people just walking around, not having a care in the world, how their presence impact others. It was a little concerning, but at the end of the day, that's the reality for a lot of people. They really don't care. However, though, I think you should care because you want to make sure that you are having that right impact. So my advice is to do a checkup from the neck up. That was one of the favorite sayings of a very good friend of mine. Do a checkup. Make sure that you're vibing right so that people like being around you. For me, what is the best version of Carla? So I practice certain principles and guidelines for the way I live. And there's a mantra by Mahatma Gandhi. I have the poster, I had it in my office. And I try, as I said, I try to live by that mantra on a daily basis. And it's be the change in the world that you would like to see. So I practice that. Another thing is integrity is a big thing for me. So if I say to you that I am going to do something for you, no, it's already done because I want my word to be my bond. And I want people to know me as that person with high integrity and high values. Integrity also, do it right even when no one is looking. So these are some of the things that I practice so that I could show up as my best self, amongst other things, of course. So again, some exercise and some homework for you. If you don't know what the best version of you look like, think about how you want to start showing up in your best self. So that's an exercise, that's your homework. And at this point, I'll stop and ask you a favor. Do me a favor. If you like what you're hearing so far, go ahead and press the like button and subscribe. This will help me to produce more videos. As I said, this is my first video, my first podcast episode. And of course, I have a lot more to share. So I'm gonna wait 2 seconds. Press like. 1, 2, press like, press subscribe. Good. Thank you. All right. So let's move on to, now that you know how you might be showing up, how would you like to show up differently? What can you do? What are some of the tips? And I would suggest when you leave home, or not even leaving home, even while home, because your presence should always be impactful, even amongst your family members. Yeah. So when you leave home and while you're home, or wherever you are, because remember, wherever you are, that's where you will be. So, tip number 1, check your emotional energy. Are you going somewhere and when you show up, you're pouting, you're slouching, you're angry, you're irritated? Oh, those energies are not attractive. Or your energy is very positive. You exude an executive presence. You're confident. You're pleasant. You're engaging. You ask questions where you genuinely want to find out about the well being of other people. Other people like to speak about themselves too. They want you to know what is going on with them. So your energy is not to monopolize or be in competition for the conversation. No, you're very welcoming. The right energy. And then tip number 2, self-regulation. Regulate your behavior. And there's a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. It's a part of the frontal lobe. It's partly responsible for judgment, problem solving, self-regulation, emotional intelligence, and of course, some other functions. And in order for that part of your brain to work at its optimum level, there are a few things you have to do. You have to give it enough rest, enough sleep, enough nutrition, and the right nutrition. That part of your brain also like to encounter new situations and new skills. And as we're talking about new skills, I am very proud to let you know that I have just started learning another language. So, mi aprendiendo español, me gusta esta bien. And actually, how I started learning another language because I was becoming so addicted to the phone. I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm here to tell you, for those of us who have that addiction to the phone, we need to stop. You would not realize how that is not helping you with mental agility. You are becoming so numb. Your thinking and your intellectualism is just shrinking because you're spending so much time on a device that is actually thinking for you. So that's just a little sideline. Let me get back to the tips. So, self regulation, if you treat that portion of your brain well, you meditate, you sleep, you give it the right nutrition, learn new skills, travel, etc., that portion of your brain can really help you with self regulation. Be very intentional and purposeful about how you show up. So, it's almost like you're teaching yourself new habits, teaching yourself the right attitude, teaching yourself how to engage and become different. So you want to be part of the solution. Your energy should be part of the solution, not the problem. And for those of us who might be introverts, this is my question to you. Do you want to just blend in to the background so that people not even aware that you are there? Or at least do you want to show up, be known that you were there, and be accepted and be appreciated? Because when people appreciate you, and you will know when your presence is loved and it is felt, you know by the responses that you get. People show you love. People say to you, I haven't seen you in a long time. People actually leave where they are and pick you out in the crowd and come and talk to you, ask you for your number. They want to actually keep in touch with you. They genuinely love you and like being around you. So, if you know of anybody that could benefit from this video, share this video with them because we really want people to start showing up differently, having more positive impact, being able to shift the energy, being able to be received in a certain way that when they leave, they know that they made a difference. And if you, as I said in the exercise, if you could think about what the best version of you would look like, I want you to send me a message and share that with me and share it with other people so that we could start a dialogue going with the objective of all of us showing up with good purpose, with impact, with the right vibes and the right energy. So, with that being said, as I said, this is my first episode and I want to have many, many more to share. So I'm going to ask you again, if you didn't do it before, to do it now. Like and subscribe. Yes? Great. So I'm going to close off this episode. And as I said, share with me your thoughts on how you would like to show up, or if you know of people who show up a certain way and they could probably just do with this video.